Alright. Welcome everybody. Finally, we have some great news actually in regard to wolves, but also regarding other species and the climate in general. And you know, wolves are very correlated. The cause of wolves is very correlated to the cause of climate and climate change and environment and diversity and biodiversity and the health of the ecosystem. So first and foremost, please like this video, comment if you want, and hit the bell, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the bell so you will be notified when a new video will be loaded on the channel. And you know, this is really a way you can support this channel. All of the contents are free and I take a lot of time and patience to produce them, so please at least give this wonderful and important support so I will feel motivated to produce other new video and contents for you. So let's dive into those news. A few weeks ago I posted some news around my social media reporting some information in regard to the fact that the Trump administration delisted, or anyway put the things in a way for the wolf to be delisted by the Endangered Species Act. So basically wolves were declared no longer endangered, right? And when I posted those informations around the social media, some people were celebrating, so believing that, oh, wolves are no longer endangered, so they are now the number of wolves is higher and they are no longer endangered. They are no longer at risk of being extinct, right? And I understand that that may be tricky. So if wolves are no longer part of the Endangered Species Act, is because now there is a large number of wolves, right? The equation that some people do not necessarily do is that by not being in the Endangered Species Act and wolves are no longer protected, that means that now hunters can go out there and kill them, or even other people can go out there and kill them, at least in certain states, right? So you can understand the political and economical implications that are behind such a decision. If we take an animal out of the Endangered Species Act, which has been achieved with so much sacrifice from people and from animals and a lot of struggles and battles in order to protect wolves. But if now we take them away from the Endangered Species Act, then we legitimate for certain categories of people to go out there and kill them, right? Well, in fact, that's not what we want, right? So the fact that wolves, just at the end of the administration, because that's just a recent news, right? It happened maybe in November, in December 2020, but is the consequence of an administration that has not supported animals, has not supported certain minorities of people, has not supported some causes related to the protection of the environment. So I can understand that that part may be tricky, right? So when I posted those informations, some people were basically celebrating, believing with all of their innocence that now wolves are safe, right? When in fact, now wolves are again at high risk to be killed by people, right? And this is the good news. The good news is that on day one, the Biden administration, actually Joe Biden himself, established again that wolves must be in the Endangered Species Act. They must be part of a protected species. They are not safe at all if they are outside of the Endangered Species Act, and they must be part of it because they still need protection, not just for them as an animal, as a species, but also for the climate. And in fact, we know, as we were saying a moment ago, that wolves play a very crucial, important, extensive, essential, relevant, terrific role for the ecosystem, because they are a keystone species, and so they keep the environment in balance. Just their presence keep the environment, or certain environments where they happen to be present, in balance, because they regulate all the balance among all of other species present on that environment. And I'm talking about animal species and natural species, right? Animals and plants, and also minerals, because also the water, the soil, the rocks, and all of what is present within a certain environment get regulated and balanced by the presence of wolves, or any way we could say is correlated. The balance of everything within a certain environment is correlated to the presence of wolves. So let's watch here a few news. Breaking: Biden announces US will rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement. So again, not just important news on day one of the Biden administration in regard to wolves and animals, but also more in general about climates and environment, right? So the Paris Climate Agreement, we're talking about this in another video, and also enact protection for grey wolves. And this article that is by the Global Authority of Animal News, it goes on by, just reading those first lines. As President Joe Biden took office yesterday, this is an article of a few days ago, his administration announced a series of steps aimed at combating the climate crisis and protecting wildlife from extinction. Wildlife was an important area of debate and conflicts during under any administration probably, but especially under Trump administration, which has been an administration really having an approach based on domination, basically, on domination of humans on other species, on domination of humans on the environment, of domination of humans on planet Earth, right? When in fact the Joe Biden administration, with those initial steps, are proposing themselves and are having an approach that is more oriented towards coexistence of humans with other species, with other plants on this planet, right? And hopefully they will be consistent during their administration with that initial approach, right? So those include re-entering the Paris Climate Agreement, cancelling the permit for the Keystone XL pipeline. You may remember all of the issues under the Trump administration with the pipeline fight that I followed and support a few years ago. So basically the indigenous people, the Indian indigenous people that are minorities but are still relevant and crucially relevant for the history of the US, for the history of the world actually, and those population that preserve a specific knowledge and traditions that were basically blown away by the Trump administration, and their land was taken to build pipeline that carry oils from different states, right? So they fought extenuously to save their land and to keep their land and the legitimate right that they had to stay on their land. but the Trump administration was very tough for them, right? And imposing a moratorium on oil leasing activities in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, which was part of that macro debate about oil. And President Biden is also launching a broad review of the Trump administration's policies, including why the administration stripped protection for birds. So we're not just talking about wolves. Many species were affected by the Trump administration. For birds under the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, their move to undo Endangered Species Act protection from gray wolves, and the administration's failure to protect monarch butterfly. Also, the monarch butterfly was unprotected under the Trump administrations, and alongside with other species were affected. But you can also think, for example, all of those debates around building a wall, for example, between the US and Mexico and other, how that is a mindset that really doesn't take into any consideration other species. How building a wall, for example, on a land, on a wild land, it just on the layer of human thinking, it may mean to create a border, a political and economical border between two countries, but on the layer of human and of wildlife, that just there is no borders, for wildlife in that area. There is no borders. That's their land, right? And so creating a wall, creating a separation, is just affect and destroy basically the space and the patterns that those animals use to survive, to hunt, to escape, to basically interfering with the natural setting of an ecosystem, right? And the life of all of the animals and plants that are attached and are related to that ecosystem, right? So all in all, what Biden administration did on day one, let me tell it again, on day one is to protect again wolves and other animals, and some clear step in support of the climate consistently with that, right? On the climate and for the land. And as a consequence, that will have also important, will generate also an important support for tribes and natives of the US, and hopefully also for other natives elsewhere. So a very, very important starting point, a few very important initial steps, and we really hope that this is the beginning of a new epoch where there is more inclusion and there is coexistence and there is more support and respect for other animals, for the nature, for the land, and for minorities of people, and for the traditions that also some minorities carry and some natives carry. So I invite you to go read this article and maybe others that you may find around the internet. And in regard to wolves, remember, you can, if you're really passionate about wolves, you can also learn a lot about wolves in the only and one online program about wolves. I don't think you find all of the information you find in this program anywhere else. You go to the Anthropology Education Dogs Canine Academy and you go to courses, all courses, and here you find the program of wolves. Now is on sale just for €39 or dollars. This is really a residual cost for the knowledge you find in this program. And you have a lot of information here from a biological perspective, and about the life of wolves and how wolves raise their puppy, and all of the family relationship within a wolf group, a wolf family, and then all of the behaviors of wolves when they hunt, and how smart they are, and the dynamics and the knowledge they use and they refine to survive, and of course the importance of wolves within the ecosystem, and the relevance they have for the well-being of other species, and of course the conflict. This is a very tough topic, and that's also related to what we were just saying a moment ago. What are the roots and the reasons of the conflict between wolves and humans? Why we have exterminated wolves? Why some people carry that conflict with wolves, and some more broader perspective of how we can frame wolves and the coexistence of wolves and humans for the well-being of the planet, right? So a lot of information, a lot of valuable contents, just €39. You just should jump on this program, and be assured that part of what you will spend for this program will be reinvested in support of wolves, or in support of dogs, or in support of other animals. Consistently with what I do, most of my income is dedicated to animals one way or the other, either being given directly to some organization, or just by being reinvested in created contents in support to animals. And lastly, I want to also mention about a wonderful documentary. You will find the link anyway underneath in this video, but here you find this wonderful documentary in support of wolves by the channel Animal Educate. This is a very astonishing, wonderful documentary. You will find a lot of information, a lot of relevant interviews and inspiring quotes. And what Abby has done is a great job, really a great job. She has been able to gather in just one place, very important voices, very important researchers, and very important information, relevant information in support of wolves. So please go there and watch this documentary, and really remember, if we like wolves, that's not enough. We must do something. Ask yourself, do I like wolves? And see if you answer yes. Okay, are you doing something for wolves? And if not, don't feel guilty. Just act, just do something. And when I say do something, it means do some research. Go online and do some research. Try to learn something more about wolves, about what's going on with their protection, with their killing, or with their history. Go watch this documentary, for example, or just go to the Wolves Online program and subscribe to this program. Just with a little investment, you will learn tons of information that will change dramatically your perspective and your understanding about wolves, or whatever else you may want to do, but just do something. Liking wolves and be fascinated and mesmerized by them is already a good step, but it's not enough. Try to do something. And together, by changing one mind and one level of awareness at a time, we will change the collective, we will change the perception that the community has about wolves. With time, we can make an impact, and we can change things for wolves, for other animals, and for nature, and for people too, of course. With that, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate, thank you if you can like this video, comment, any type of comments will be appreciated and answered. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell button and click all, so for every other video you will be updated. Thank you again very much. Please stay in touch, and I wish you all the possible best, and finger crossed that at least on some levels, although this is a very challenging time, but at least on some levels we are entering a new stage of human, wolves, other animals, people, and the climate life. Thank you, and talk more soon.